Good evening, and welcome to the December 15th Downers Grove Village Council meeting. I'm your Mayor Pro Tem, Greg Jose, and I'll be chairing tonight's meeting, but don't fear, our mayor is still gathering with us by phone. Unfortunately, due to the surge in COVID-19 cases, we continue to operate with a mostly remote arrangement for village meetings, including this one. In order to do our part to help follow CDC guidelines, minimize the spread of COVID, and be mindful of social distancing, we have most of the team operating remotely. Participating by conference call include Commissioners Marge Earl, Nicole Wallace, Leslie Sadowski-Fugit, Kavanaugh Gray, and Mayor Bob Barnett. Participating in council chambers with me is Dave Fieldman, our village manager, Rosa Berardi, our village clerk, and Enza Petrarca, our village attorney. In an effort to provide for public input to this meeting, we solicited public input prior to the meeting via email and our village e-remarks system. We'll do our best to get those comments into the record and to answer those questions as we go. Copies of tonight's agenda, as well as links to all the documentation we have here, can be found at our website at downers.us, where in the lower left-hand corner you can find a link titled current week's meetings. Public comment is also taken electronically during the meeting. To submit a question or comment electronically, you can visit that same This Week's Meetings Village webpage and click on the green Submit Public Comment link anytime during the meeting, and we're going to check it periodically for new submissions. We'll make every effort to enter questions or comments received during the meeting into the record at the end of the meeting, where we have placed our typical public comments section. As is sometimes the case during regular meetings, we might have to get back to folks with additional information at a later date. And as always, let us stop now and begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Jose?
Here.
Commissioner Earl?
Here.
Commissioner Wallace?
Here.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Here.
Commissioner Colavani? Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Mayor Barnett?
Here.
Thank you. May I have a motion to conduct this meeting electronically?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to conduct the meeting electronically. Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. We are now officially here. That brings us to item 3, the minutes of the December 8th, 2020 meeting. May I have a motion?
I move to accept the council meeting minutes from December 8th, 2020 as presented. Second.
I'm going to go around the horn on this one. Any comments? Commissioner Earl?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Wallace?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
No, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner Gray?
No, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you.
Mayor Barnett?
No, Mayor.
May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. That brings us to item 4, the mayor's report. We have one item, a piece of new business to be placed on file. The village has received an application for an on-premise full alcohol liquor license from Shamagausha Brazilian Steakhouse Downers Grove, Inc., formerly known as Shamagausha Brazilian Steakhouse, Inc. Pursuant to Section 3-12D of the Liquor Control Ordinance, a public hearing for a liquor license application may be waived. The application must be placed on file for a minimum of 2 weeks, subject to public comment prior to the issuance of a new license. At this time, I am placing this application on file in the village clerk's office. Barring any objection, once the 2-week waiting period has passed, a liquor license shall be issued to Shamagaosha Brazilian Steakhouse Downers Grove, Inc., DBA Shamagaosha Brazilian Steakhouse, Inc., located at 3008 Finley Road. And it is placed on file this Tuesday, December the 15th, 2020. It brings us to item 5. Can I have a motion with regard to the consent agenda?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. We don't take debate on this. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. That brings us to item 6, our active agenda. We have several items tonight. They've all been workshopped previously, but there is another opportunity for comment from the council and the public. May I have a motion with regard to active agenda item A to amend the zoning ordinance?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the Village of Downers Grove, Illinois, to designate the property at 1111 Ogden Avenue as a planned unit development number 63 and authorize construction of a multi-tenant retail building as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dave, is there any public comment?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Thank you. In order to make sure there's no comment from the council, I'm going to go around the horn on this one as well. I'll start with Commissioner Earl.
No comment, thank you.
Commissioner Wallace.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Gray.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett.
No comment, Greg, thanks.
I'd just like to add that once more, we did workshop this previously and want to, rather than repeat this over and over again, we've got a few items on 111 Ogden. I want to thank Vequity for all of their investment in Downers Grove, in particular this latest one. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. May I have a motion with regard to item B, rezoning certain property?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance rezoning certain property located at 1111 Ogden Avenue as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, Commissioner Earl? Hearing none. Commissioner Wallace.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit.
No, thank you.
Commissioner Gray.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett.
No, thank you.
May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
That matter also passes unanimously. May I have a motion with regard to active agenda item C, authorizing a special use?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance authorizing a special use for 1111 Ogden Avenue to permit a multi-tenant retail building with a drive-through as presented.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Any comments, Commissioner Earl?
Just my thanks to Equity as well. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Commissioner Wallace.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit.
No, thank you.
Commissioner Gray.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett.
No, thank you.
May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit,
Aye.
Commissioner Jose,
Aye.
Mayor Barnett.
Aye.
That matter also passes unanimously. May I have a motion with regard to item D, approving a redevelopment agreement?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance approving a redevelopment agreement between the Village of Downers Grove and 1111 Ogden Avenue LLC as presented.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Any comments, Commissioner Earl?
No, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner Wallace?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Gray?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett?
No, thank you, Greg.
May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit,
Aye.
Commissioner Jose,
Aye.
Mayor Barnett.
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. Thank you again to Vequity. May I have a motion with regard to item E, making certain amendments to mobile food vendor maps?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance making certain amendments to the mobile food vendor permitted location map as presented.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Any comments, Commissioner Earl?
Just thank you to everybody who did weigh in on this during the last week, and it helped me make a decision. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Wallace?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Gray?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Dave, has there been any public comment on this?
No, sir. Thank
Very
you.
good. I'd just like to thank Commissioner Cullivaney, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight, for bringing this forward. He really did a lot of work on it behind the scenes and deserves a lot of credit. I thank my fellow commissioners for supporting it, and I look forward to voting for it momentarily. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit,
Aye.
Commissioner Jose,
Aye.
Mayor Barnett.
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. May I have a motion with regard to item F, amending liquor license classifications?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance amending liquor license classifications as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, Commissioner Earl?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Wallace?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Gray?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett?
No, thank you.
I have no comments as well. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Earl,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit,
Aye.
Commissioner Jose,
Aye.
Mayor Barnett.
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. May I have a motion with regard to item G, the water rates?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance amending the rates charged for water as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, Commissioner Earl?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Wallace.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thanks.
Commissioner Gray.
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett.
No, thank you.
I'd just like to point out once again, I know we talk about this every year when we have to adjust the rates, to the extent we have to adjust the rates. We adjust them only due to the cost of water, which is passed on to us by the DuPage Water Commission, which gets passed on to them, I believe, by the city of Chicago. And then to actually maintain our water system. This is obviously a critical piece of infrastructure, and it unfortunately costs a bit of money, but it's right that we maintain it, and we do it at the best possible cost. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
That matter passes unanimously. And finally, with regard to active agenda item H, may I have a motion with regard to the food and beverage taxes?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adopt an ordinance amending the rates charged for food and beverage taxes as presented.
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded. Do we have any comments, Commissioner Earl?
No comments, thank you.
Commissioner Wallace?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Commissioner Gray?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Mayor Barnett?
No, thank you, Greg.
I think I'll let that one go. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Earl?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
Excuse me, that matter passes unanimously. I want to thank everybody for the putting up with the tediousness of going around the horn, but given the nature of the conference call, it's just an easier way to keep a clean record. That concludes our active agenda. We have no first reading tonight, so that brings us to item 8, the manager's report. I will turn it over to Village Manager Dave Fielder.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I am pleased to present a potential action plan which would implement several of the recommendations of the 2020 Human Service Ad Hoc Committee report to the Village Council. The presentation covers some background information, the potential action items, and the schedule for implementation. The Human Service Ad Hoc Committee was created in late 2018, and the Council asked the committee to consider a few key questions about the role that the Human Service Commission could play on a permanent basis. The committee's first report was presented to the Council in 2019, and a more detailed report with specific recommendations and priorities was presented to the Council just last month. That latest report included 14 recommended actions categorized in 3 priority levels. After reviewing and discussing the report with each individual council member, staff drafted this potential action plan. This action plan contains 2 key deliverables: a social services referral program and a service gap analysis. Under the social services referral program, the village would connect residents in need of services with existing service providers. The service gap analysis report would identify areas where connecting residents to these services has some challenges. The action plan also calls for engaging professional staff and appointing Human Service Commission members to complete these 2 key deliverable tasks. The table that's shown on the screen now summarizes the action plan implementation schedule. This plan would take about 12 to 15 months to complete once it is initiated. The Village Council will decide when to initiate the action plan based on the village's overall financial condition. We are providing financial reports to the Council and the public each month and have been doing so since April. The engagement of professional staff would take about 45 days to complete after the council authorizes the plan initiation. It would then take about 6 months to establish the social services referral program. Any appointments to the Human Service Commission would take place about 90 days after staff is engaged. Staff should be able to prepare the service gap analysis report after the referral program is up and running. Then the Human Service Commission could review and consider elements in that action report, that gap analysis report. And that will likely take them 2 meetings, a couple of months, to complete their review. That is a brief overview of the potential action plan, and staff plans on following this action plan unless council members have any objections or concerns. So with that, Mayor Pro Tem, I will be happy to answer any council questions.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go around the horn to make sure that we get everybody clearly on the record if they have any comments, questions, any concerns. I'll start with Commissioner Earl.
No comments, questions, or concerns. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner Wallace.
Just a couple of comments, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you. At the November 10th meeting that was referenced, I shared that I continue to support a Human Services Commission and shared many parts of the Human Services Ad Hoc Committee report that I thought could work as a jumping off point. In that same meeting, I asked if other municipalities employ social workers, and if so, what are their duties and their tasks? And our staff was great. They went and surveyed DuPage municipalities, and those results indicated that 13 municipalities have some form of a social worker employee or service, and 3 of them, including Downers Grove, who are budgeting for a possible social worker in their 2021 budget. That, along with information on how those social workers provided services, was incredibly helpful. So when I saw how many other municipalities already have some form of a social worker or social work service, I really feel even more strongly about this than I did before, having something like this in our community. I know we're talking only locally here, but if we all think about, since the colonial beginnings of our country, the government has been involved in addressing social issues. And I think it's time, I think some might argue past due, that we as a governmental agency, entity, even though we're local, we're not at the federal level, but I think it's time for us to look at residents in our town, again, like we did before when we did have a Human Services Commission, not just as another number counted in our census data, but as human beings. And I think that this is a good start to bringing some of that human aspect back to our local government, and having our Human Services Commission as part of our boards and commissions once again. So I'm in full support of this, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I am thrilled with this action plan. I know I mentioned in our last meeting on this that I wanted to make sure that this did not just end up being a checkbox, but was going to have something actionable. I've been consistent in hoping that we would have some sort of social worker or social services referral program. It is just crucial that people are not only made aware of the resources that are available, but also have help in accessing them. That's such a big step that's often missing. So I'm thrilled that this is happening. I'm thrilled that it's going to be within the year 2021, and I'm excited to have folks on the Human Services Commission again. So just a huge thank you to everyone who participated in the ad hoc committee, both round 1 and round 2, and a huge thank you to staff for preparing this and making it actually happen. So thanks again. I'm in full support. And that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to start just by thanking all of the members of the Human Services Ad Hoc Committee that actually put in the work to get us to this point. just what they've been able to contribute has been super helpful. The staff for kind of giving us something back to work with and look at. I wanted to touch on a few items from the report. The first one I asked the village to kind of give me some clarity on, and I was able to get this. When you read the report, at first it read a little bit ambiguous in terms of when we might be looking at a particular staff member in the future. When I got some clarity on that, it helped me to kind of process a little bit better, in that just like we've had to manage, just like the village has had to manage the past 9 months of kind of ebbing and flowing with how the economy around us has gone, I think it's important to kind of keep in mind that this decision also kind of flows and follows what we're hoping to see positively going forward. So although I'd like to see something permanent today answered, I understand that a little bit better, that we have to kind of go by changing conditions. And so that was the first thing. I was concerned about the report that we were looking to kind of accomplish. I know that we've had a few variations of reports, the most recent on November 10th. And so I think one of the things that I was trying to make sure is that, really trying to make sure I understood that we're now going from a general report in November to now a more comprehensive gap-filling type of report, and not just having, another report versus actually having some activity on the ground. So that was one of the concerns based on what we had. Kind of skipping down, I think one of the things that concerns me a little bit also is the timeline. And so I would just say this to throw this out there, just to kind of have a record. Over the past 9 months, we have had to kind of do a lot of dynamic changes on the fly and adapting to COVID. And some of those changes have kind of covered everything from how we work with our businesses to how we provide services. And so I want us to keep in mind that we are still passing through a recession. We are still seeing very high demand for food needs. We're looking at a January where we could see record number of evictions after this stay comes off. Nationally and in our area, our own residents are dealing with cases of identity fraud that they've never had to deal with before. And so we have things that are on the horizon outside of our norm that need addressing and need issues today. I would ask for a consideration of us amending our policy on appointments and boards and commissions as a one-time to consider actually instituting the ad hoc service committee before time. And I think that is primarily, we've had to do variations of this, and I would like to see us act sooner than later as we go through a season where we could be losing some valuable time when people in our area need it the most. So I'm in support of what we are trying to do. I think for my own personal, I'd like to see a little bit more clarity, or for us to make a little bit more movement on some things that we might have some control over. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mayor Barnett.
Thanks, Greg. I certainly echo the sentiments of my colleagues and appreciation for our residents who helped us get to this point. I appreciate how probably from their perspective frustrating this is because nothing ever moves as quickly as you wish. But there is an actual path here now that I believe is going to get us to a point that, as Leslie mentioned, and Nicole and Marge all mentioned, is far different than where we were 2 months ago, 6 months ago, or in 2018 when we kicked this conversation off. And will lead to a situation where our village is of better and more consistent service to our residents. I fully support the path forward. I would love to see a great first quarter that allows us to accelerate things. We'll have to see how that goes. But this council, in what I see as a commitment to engaging in the business of trying to help facilitate social services. I think Leslie mentioned get people to the services that are out there, make them aware of it, is a big thing. I can tell you as mayor, I get a lot of calls, a lot of contacts, a lot of direct messages and emails that often end up, most often, frankly, in referral kinds of activities. I think it's a huge portion of what our role in our community as a village can be, which is a center point for information and connectivity. There's a lot of good people doing good work, but if they don't get connected with the people who need it, it doesn't do anyone any good. I'm excited about this. It's a long time coming and too slow for probably everyone, but it is real progress. I'm excited, and I really appreciate everybody staying with it. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start by echoing my colleagues with regard to thanking everybody on the ad hoc committee and thanking staff. There's a joke out there that we tend to move at the speed of government, but this is actually something that in the last, I'd say, 90 days has moved pretty fast. I think it was the mayor who mentioned that this has been going on since 2018 when we first had the ad hoc committee assembled and tasked with analyzing some of the needs out there in our community and potential solutions. But we've seen the long-range plan come together pretty quickly and recently, and we have seen this report be accepted by the council, and about 35 days later, here we are with an action plan. And I think that's a great thing. So that's certainly in a time where this year has in many ways seemed interminably long. We've moved pretty fast on this, and I think doing so in a way that keeps us mindful of our economic situation, and certainly keeping at in the forefront of our minds the economic situations of so many out there who are struggling. This is something we need to move on with all possible speed, and that's, I think, what we're all going to do. Do we have any public comment, Dave?
Just double checking, let me refresh. No, sir. No further public comments.
Thank you. Let me take one more time with the council. Would anybody like to add anything?
Thank you. With that, Mayor Pro Tem, if I could, just one quick note on our manager's report. This is the last village council meeting of 2020. It's been a very challenging year. I want to take a minute to personally thank publicly each and every member of our village staff team. I want to thank my coworkers for their commitment to serving the public in challenging conditions, their commitment to safety and COVID mitigation efforts to help keep our community members safe and our own teammates safe. My coworkers continue to perform with exceptional performance, innovation, and creativity, and a commitment to this organization that is unmatched. It's really a privilege to be part of this team, and I wanted to publicly thank every member of the Village of Downers Grove staff team. Thanks for a great year. Thanks for your great performance. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That ends my manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Fieldman. That brings us to public comments. I'm going to go right back to you, Dave. Is there anything else out there?
I thought I had something else on my report there. Sorry, I froze there for 1 second.
Sorry. Didn't mean to jump the gun.
No, sir. No further public comments. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Did you have anything else on your report?
No, sir.
All right. That brings us to council member reports. This is an opportunity for council members to report out on happenings in the community and give us kind of the pulse. I'll start with Commissioner Earl. Any report, Commissioner Earl?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I apologize for being a little distracted tonight. Although I had to read all of this interesting stuff, I'm a little not with it because I've got a lot of people in my world who are actually in the hospital, not just with COVID, but with other things as well. And it's got me a little bit rattled. And so with that, I'm just going to wish everyone a happy holidays. However you decide to celebrate, please do so safely. Remember, this isn't a normal year, and masks, hand washing, sanitizing, keeping your distance, even if you can see your family, that's great, but keep your distance. Try not to hug, and do your best to everybody get to 2021 and hopefully 2021 will bring us the year of hope and light again, and we will be COVID-free sometime in 2021. So best wishes to everyone at Village staff, all of my colleagues, and thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I don't think anybody took anything with regard to distraction. It's just sometimes it can be difficult to get to that mute button. These conference call meetings are still something we're all getting used to. Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just a couple of things. Downtown Downers Grove released a list of restaurants providing holiday catering packages, which you can find on downtowndg.org. Those are Ballydoyle, Cadence Kitchen, Capri of Downers Grove, Gattos, Pinecone Cottage Tea House, and the Foxtail. Please continue to support restaurants and small businesses inside and outside of our downtown area. They all still really need our help. Also, don't forget to turn in your receipts from your downtown Downers Grove purchases worth $100 to earn $10 in candy cane cash rewards until December 31st. Rewards are then good until February 28th, 2021. Please continue to give each other grace as we move forward through this challenging time. I want to wish a happy holidays to my colleagues, to village staff, and to all of our residents. Please stay safe as we move into 2021. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to echo, I hope everyone has at least a little bit of a joyful holiday season, even if it is different from what we are used to. And I also just want to wish everyone out there in my life who is struggling with COVID and anyone in the hospital, I hope you get well soon. It's definitely been a difficult week for a lot of people, and as the holidays approach and people are ill, it can be hard. But we'll get through this together as a community if we give each other kindness and we follow public health recommendations. And there is at least a little bit of a light on the horizon with the vaccine rollout. So that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I think at this time of year, I'm reminded of something that I kind of hear floating around in my head oftentimes. It doesn't take a lot to be happy. And I find myself trying to come back to that place when I want to complain or things aren't going right. Hey, Kavanaugh, a reminder it doesn't take a lot to be happy. One of our awesome residents contacted me this week. They were referred to me, and she was pretty much telling me that she is in care of or helping a single mom that is homeless with 3 boys, and was really just asking for some advice and for some direction. And so I just want to thank that family for reaching out to someone in our community who is having a harder of a go this holiday season than possibly most could imagine. I think the holidays can just be they can be difficult for anyone, and this year definitely that is not the exception. And so I just want to wish everyone at the village, all of my colleagues in the commissioner role, Mayor Barnett, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. And as we look forward to 2021, there will be better days ahead. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Commissioner. As we sit here in the last meeting of 2020, it occurred to me to borrow a phrase from my day job as a labor lawyer. This is our last meeting and our final meeting, but it sure as heck isn't the best. You were sitting here with just a couple of staff and just me in person and everybody else on the phone, and it's certainly still an unusual thing. 2020 has presented a number of challenges throughout the year that I think would rank pretty high on a list of things we all never expected to see. We have challenges of coming ahead of us with the holiday season. A lot of us away from family and friends that we normally would be spending a lot of great quality time with. And that's something we're all struggling with. But it's also a time of grace and peace and a time of hope. The hope of a new year, the hope of a vaccine, the hope of a return to something closer to a normal life very soon. The hope that comes from the indomitable human spirit that we've seen with the development of a vaccine on such a rapid basis. We've seen it locally with regard to so many folks helping those in need. The way we've all come together to support our local businesses and to support those who are struggling. Hope's a very powerful thing, and I hope we carry it with us each and every day the rest of 2020, and I hope it springs eternal in 2021. So thanks to everybody for all of their work here in 2020. Thank you to all of our staff. Thanks to everybody on the phone and anybody watching on the internet. It's been a tough year, but we're going to have a better one next year. Any other public comment come in, Dave?
No, sir.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, good night, happy holidays, and Happy New Year.